presentation is presented by Himanshu Pandey. Dheeraj Pandey. Sorry. And the topic is reforms with the future and farming needs in mind. Start.
So good morning, gentlemen. Today the topic of our lecture is that what are the reforms with the current farming needs in mind should be made in India. So as we know that the government has recently on the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan. So we know that the main motto of Atmanirbhar Bharat is to make India self-reliant and a self-sustainable country. And we know that India is a land of agriculture where most of the people are engaged in the agriculture activity. So it's easier for us to make India reliable and self-sustainable by making reforms in the field of agriculture. If we go to the history, then we see that India is a country which is a net exporters of the agriculture goods after when the economic reforms were made in 1991. But before that, when India got its freedom, so India faced huge difficulties in the field of agriculture. As we have seen that at that time, a time came when India has nothing to eat. So at that time, US has passed a law known as Public Law 480, under which the food grains comes from US in the forms of SIP to fulfill the requirement of India. But we have witnessed that after that Green Revolution came in India and the condition of agriculture has gone very good in India. If we talk about the golden year of agriculture, then the golden year of agriculture is witnessed in the year 2013 and 14, in which the exports of the agriculture goods were 43.6 billion and imports were just $18.9 billion, thus giving India a trade surplus of $24.7 billion. But if we talk about the present scenario, that what is the condition of agriculture in the present scenario? So in the present scenario, there is only a trade surplus of $11.2 billion. So this shows that how India needs to be reformed in the form of agriculture, because our trade surplus has gone 1/2. If we see less than 1/2, so a reform should be made in the form of agriculture. So if we think about the future and future needs in mind, so the major reforms which should be made according to the present scenario, these are: the first is in edible oil, because as we know that India is the highest consumption of edible oil of around $10.86 billion. That means India consumes around $1.86 billion edible oil, and from that 1.86 billion, India exports 10.46 billion from the countries like Indonesia and Myanmar. That means that from 1.86 billion we are importing this much, 1.46. If we grow this in our own soil, then we can definitely get a trade surplus of 10.86 billion. So what are the ways that Indian government should take to increase the production of edible oil? The first one is that they should increase the per hectare produce of oil seeds, because we know that we can extract these oils from the oil seed. So if we increase the per hectare produce, so we are definitely going to increase our edible oil. And the second step which we can take is increase the recovery ratio, because we knew that we can recover oils from these seeds, and sometimes we recover palm oil in the forms of fruit. If we have to recover something from fruit, so that's come under the category of palm oil. So if we increase the recovery ratio, see, if I give you an example, if at a current scenario we are only extracting 50% from a seed, so that means we are only utilizing its 50%. But if we increase its recovery ratio by 80%, that means from 100 we are going to get 80. So definitely our edible oil is going to increase. And we have seen that in India, 1 hectare of palm oil can give us 4 tons of oil, which is a very huge number. So if we are going for a 1 hectare land, we are going to utilize our palm oil, so we are going a huge amount of, we are saying that increase. And in India, 2 million hectare of land is suitable also for agriculture in palm oil. So by that we can increase our edible oil consumption, and we can use that, and we can become means we have no need to import it from other countries like Malaysia and Indonesia. The second reform which should be made in is branding of agriculture products. See, what the advantage we are going to gain from the branding of agriculture product is that first of all our farmer can sold it globally, because we have seen that the farmer are facing many difficulties to sold it globally. But if we done the branding of this agriculture product, the farmer are going to get advantage of this definitely. And second is that if this branding comes, so the farmer have to definitely increase the quality of the agriculture produce they are going to make. So this is also the benefit India is going to get. The third thing which reform should be made is that agriculture business bank should be set up in the country like India, because we have seen that in various countries like China and Philippines there are already agri-business banks. That's why they are having very good amount of agriculture produce in their country. The main motive of this agri-business bank is to provide easy loans to the farmer so that they can produce the different types of agriculture products in their own country. The fourth reform which should be made is that agri-allied activities. What are these agri-allied activities? These are engaging the farmers in different fields like dairy, animal husbandry, beekeeping, fisheries. So if we are going to increase these agriculture allied activities, so definitely the agriculture sector is also going to increase from that. And the last reform which we should make is that if we infrastructure among the tribal communities, we have seen that the tribal communities are very hardworking and their reform should be also made in India. So if we involve them in these agriculture activities, so definitely the tribal community development, and definitely then if they will be developed, so the development of country and the agriculture produce in our country is going to raise. So that's all for the presentation. Thank you.
Fine. Any queries, anyone?
In point third, agri-business bank, we have cooperative banks for this also.
See, we have banks like NABARD, and you are saying about that. So if we go to the full form of NABARD, so NABARD is National Bank of Agriculture and Rural Development. That means it has two work of agriculture development also and rural development also. That means they are busy in two phases. But this agri-business bank have only one dimension, that is it's going to for the development of this agriculture only. So if it has only one dimension, so it's definitely going to encourage the agriculture products in India.
And what type of agriculture products tribal communities will produce?
See, tribal communities, as we have know that in tribal means they are in different areas situated. So we know that different kind of soil is found in Indian regions. Somewhere it is laterite, it's loomy. So according to the soil, I think they can produce agriculture products which is suitable for that type of crops.
Can you name some?
Sorry ma'am, I have no information about that.
Fine. Anything else? Anyone? Okay, please have a seat.
Branding.
Branding means
हम लोगों के 50% जो है वो इन्वॉल्व है एग्रीकल्चर में, तो एक ब्रांड में कैसे सबको लेके आ सकते हैं?
नहीं, ब्रांडिंग अलग अलग होंगी ना, जैसे जीआई टैग्स दे दिए हैं, ठीक है, जैसे कि नागपुर ऑरेंजेस, ठीक है, वो ऐसे बिकते हैं, कश्मीर एप्पल्स बिकते हैं, हिमाचल एप्पल्स, ऐसे करके ये होता है।
थैंक यू।
Okay, take care.